Welcome to a brand new episode of Conference Chatter TV. My name's Eric Sorrentino. I'm the KUSports.com Big 12 blogger, and I am here to make predictions of every game in the Big 12 this college football season. With that in mind, this is the very last week of games in the Big 12 for the 2010 regular season. Bunch of games to get to and some predictions that you want to stay tuned here for. Appreciate you guys checking out the latest episode and sticking with me for another week. My record in picking Big 12 games this year is 70-20, and last year, my first year of picking Big 12 games on Conference Chatter TV, I only lost 24 games all season, so it's kind of scaring me that I'm approaching that mark because I really wanted to do better this season. So let's see if I can do that here in the final week of games in the Big 12. I'll get some easy ones out of the way first because there are a few in the final week. It's week 13. The ones that I wanted to get out of the way first, kind of no-brainers here. Colorado at number 16, Nebraska on Friday. I'm certainly going with Nebraska at home. That said, if Colorado wins this game, interim coach Brian Cabral needs a more than a serious look to be the Buffalo's next head coach. If they win this game, he's got to elevate right to the top of the list. Houston at Texas Tech, definitely taking the Red Raiders at home in this. Should be a high-scoring game, but I'm taking Texas Tech. Remember, last year, Houston beat Tech 29-28, so I think Tech will be out for some revenge in Week 13. And then Kansas State at North Texas, certainly going with the Wildcats, even on the road, going with K-State. North Texas, not the best team the past couple of years. They're 13-57, dating back to 2005, so K-State should have no problem on the road. Now it gets to the tougher ones, starting with the game of the week, without question, number 14, Oklahoma, at number 10, Oklahoma State. It's 7 p.m. on Saturday. It's Bedlam. ESPN College Game Day is going to be there. This is going to be an incredible game. The stakes have never been higher in Bedlam, not in the Big 12 era. This game is likely for the Big 12 South title and the representative from the South in the Big 12 championship. Oklahoma, 9-2, coming off a 53-24 victory over Baylor, which is big because OU hadn't been good on the road this season. They were in that game, which was a test for Oklahoma State, which is a little bit more high-powered. We'll get to that in a second. Oklahoma State, 10-1, having their best year in the history of the program, and they're coming off a 48-14 victory over Kansas. Now, my pick in this game, Oklahoma State, they have the best offense in the Big 12. They have the best record in the Big 12. That said, this is my upset pick of the week. I'm going Oklahoma, and yes, part of the reason, I will admit, I'm picking Oklahoma because I picked the Sooners to win the South in the preseason. So there's a little bit of a pride factor going on there with how the Big 12 has played out and my prediction in the preseason. So I will admit that. But when picking this game, I'm taking into account and respecting the recent history of Bedlam. And that recent history suggests that OU owns this series. The Sooners have won 7 straight games over Oklahoma State. And with the stakes as high as they are, when it comes to playing in the Big 12 championship, this might not be Bob Stoops' best team, but representing the South in the Big 12 is nothing new to Oklahoma. In fact, 6 of the past 8 years, Oklahoma has represented the South in the Big 12 championship. So I'm taking Oklahoma. I know it's on the road. I know the Sooners aren't the best road team, but they really, really showed me something last week against Baylor. Now, Oklahoma State, they're unbelievable. 10-1. I love watching this team. And you know Oklahoma State's going to move the ball. You know Oklahoma State is going to score. Now, I'm not predicting, Oklahoma by a lot. This is going to be a close game. I kind of expect a shootout. I would recommend taking the over in this game. But, don't sleep on OU's offense and moving the ball either. Oklahoma scored 98 points in the last 2 weeks. So, the Sooners can move the ball. Landry Jones, Ryan Broyles having a great year. We know about Oklahoma State's offense. I talk about it every week on this video that, they're the best offense in the Big 12, arguably the country. There's nothing, it's very difficult to stop Oklahoma State because it seems like, if you stop one facet, they just have so many more facets of their offense that they can dominate you on. But I'm expecting a close game. I'm really expecting a close game. I'm expecting a high-scoring game. And, this could be a high-scoring game, and how it turns out, it might be that whatever defense makes a play at the end of the game will win, because these offenses are really, really high-powered and can light up the scoreboard. And if I had to take one of these defenses, I'm going to take Oklahoma over Oklahoma State when you're talking about the defense. Now, one thing about Oklahoma's defense, they must apply at least some pressure on Oklahoma State quarterback Brandon Weeden. The last 4 games, Weeden has been the whole season he's been unbelievable. But the last 4 games, Weeden, 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception in the last 4 games. But most importantly, what I was looking at, 1 sack. He's been sacked 1 time in the last 4 games. The Cowboys' offensive line has done a sensational job of protecting Weeden, and that's, he's finding Justin Blackmon with ease, who, by the way, I talk about it every week. I feel like I'm making a Blackmon Heisman pitch. Maybe not to win it, but he should be on that ballot. I think he's 3rd right now. But Oklahoma's defensive line must get at least some pressure on Weeden, because these last 4 weeks, and for most of the season, he's had all sorts of time to find Blackmon. And then when you do that, you focus too much on their passing game, Kendall Hunter comes in and tears you up in the running game. So this is a very tall task for the OU defense. It's a tall task for any defense to go up against Oklahoma State. But I'm expecting a very narrow game, a very high-scoring game, and I'm taking Oklahoma's defense to make 1 play at the end and preserve the victory for Oklahoma. Let's get to some other games here. Number 17, Texas A&M at Texas. 7 p.m. Thursday on Thanksgiving. I'm taking A&M. The Aggies are one of the hottest teams in the country. They're 5-0 in their last 5 games. The defense is playing much better, and that, along with Ryan Tannehill and Cyrus Gray playing out of their minds on offense, has enabled the Aggies to have an outside chance of winning the Big 12 South. Now, a lot of things would have to happen for the Aggies to win the South, and it probably won't happen. But if they have any chance, they have to beat Texas, obviously, on Thursday. And I'm taking the Aggies because Texas really hasn't proved anything to me lately. I mean, yes, they won last week, but that was against Florida Atlantic. And when you look at the Horns, they really haven't had a meaningful victory since October 16th at Nebraska. Haven't shown me anything since then. So give me the Aggies on Thursday. Final game of the week, number 15, Missouri against Kansas, 11:30 a.m. Saturday game in Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium. It's border war, living in Lawrence. This is, always an exciting game. These past 2 years, it's been one of the most exciting games in the conference and maybe in the country. These past 2 years have just been incredible. Very, very close margins in the past 2 games. This year, though, Vegas does not think that this game will be close. The line is 24.5 points. Now, for the sake of Conference Chatter TV here, where I don't include the line, I'm taking Missouri, obviously, straight up. I'm not going to do anything crazy and take KU quite yet. But, I'm taking Missouri, but I'm looking for KU to cover in this game. And that would be a victory in itself for KU, which has not really looked good lately, or at all for most of the year. This game, when I look at it, I see KU covering. I mean, you take a look at this rivalry. Last year, the margin was only 2 points. Missouri won 41-39. 2 years ago, it was only 3 points when Kansas won 40-37. And I took a look at this rivalry, and when talking about, the line is 24.5 points for Saturday. So when you're talking about that spread, and just looking at it, a 25-point margin, it's only been seen 1 time in this rivalry in the past 16 years. And that was in 2006 when Missouri won 42-17. Other than that, all of these games in the past 16 years have been closer than 25 points. So I know Missouri is a much better team than Kansas. Missouri should absolutely win this game. But I'm not underestimating the rivalry factor. I think there is something that goes into that. I think Kansas makes it a little closer than 24.5 points. But Missouri certainly straight up. So that will conclude the picks here in Week 13 in the Big 12. There are some great picks, great games, I should say. I hope they're great picks, but great games that will decide the Big 12 North and South. Nothing is decided yet. It all comes down to the last week, and that's how it should be. So enjoy the games, have a nice Thanksgiving, and I'll be back this weekend to reflect on my picks. Thanks a lot, guys.